All right, so a little bit of backstory here. I've been chasing 4K for about 3 years now, primarily because I wanted a bit of a new look for my videos and a little bit of higher quality. Now, in accordance with that old saying, the best camera is the one you got, I started shooting 4K with my LG V10. Fast forward a little bit, and I also was shooting with the Sony RX100, which we primarily use now more for vlogging and also for food pics over on Mesha's Corner. You should check that out, by the way. Link in the cards and in the description box. Shameless plug. However, neither of those was really a long-term solution for a few reasons, mostly due to heat and, of course, lenses. I think the Panasonic G85 ticks almost all the boxes, so let me tell you why this is my new primary camera. This is not a new camera. It was released towards the end of 2016. So there is loads of great reviews on this camera that is completely detailed. The point of this video is to tell you my experience and why I chose this camera. So allow me to just throw my video into the pool of all those little videos that's out there right now. The first thing I noticed about the Panasonic G85 was how light it was. It definitely made it a lot more portable. Of course, that really depends on what lens you have on there. The second thing I noticed was the autofocus, which is definitely better than the D3100. However, when you compare it to the Sony RX100, well, not so much. It does focus well when you're doing that autofocus by yourself, just tapping on the trigger there, or if you're tapping on the screen. This does have a touchscreen, by the way. However, when you put it into autofocus continuous, where the camera is made to manage that autofocus by itself, it's kind of a hit or miss. After several mishaps while trying to film videos using the continuous autofocus, I found it better to pretty much use the standard autofocus when I'm doing pictures so I can quickly get autofocus before I take the shot. And in video, I just leave the autofocus off entirely and use the manual focus with the focus peaking, which seems to work out a lot better for me. The third thing I noticed was the lens. The stock 12-60 that the Panasonic G85 comes with is solid. It's a pretty good lens, a very good all-around lens is what you're seeing this video through right now, which you've been seeing the last several videos through as well. I do want to get better lenses, with a lower aperture, sharper shot. However, I also wanted to be able to use my old Nikon lenses with the G85, so I went out and got a lens adapter. The lens adapter I got is by K&F Concept, and it works pretty well. However, one thing I really want to note, which is kind of important, this is my first lens adapter, so this is my first real experience with it. However, the thing is, when you throw on a lens adapter, it immediately sets the camera into manual. Everything is manual. Even the focus peaking doesn't really work that well when using the lens adapter. And for that very reason, I like using my lens adapter and my Nikon lenses when I'm taking pictures. However, if I'm not taking pictures, I prefer to not use it because I really like using the focus peaking when I'm doing my videos, and it just doesn't work that well with the adapter. If you guys have more experience with, lens adapters and things like that, and if you think I'm doing something wrong, like it should work a little bit better than that, then by all means, drop down in the comments. Let me know what's up. I'll definitely be reading them so I can get some tips from you guys. Speaking of focus, as a solo YouTuber, it's kind of an important thing, and it's a little bit difficult to do when you're a one-man band, all right? When you're a solo YouTuber, trying to make sure that you're in focus, you got to pull out a few different kind of tricks. It helps a lot to have a camera that has an app where you can control that remotely, along with a lot of other settings for the camera, so that you can work the camera as if you had a cameraman standing behind the camera, when in actuality, it's just coming here from the phone. And the G85 has a very decent app that allows me to control the aperture, the shutter speed, and also the focus, along with a few other things. I just dropped my phone. Along with a few other things, and this is really a truly helpful thing. I've never actually had a camera that really had as good an app as the G85 does. The Sony RX100 does have an app, but is mostly used for just transferring images off the camera, which you can also do with the G85's app. So it's just really helpful to have something like that. Now for me, the G85 does a lot of things right, helps my workflow, all kinds of good stuff. However, there is some cons with it, and it's not a lot, but it's just some slight frustrations that I had with this camera when I first started using it. Out of the box, when you pull out the G85, you start, taking pictures, videos, and things like that, you're gonna notice that as you're putting in your settings for the aperture and shutter speed, it's not immediately reflected on the preview window that you're staring at. It's a little bit weird. I'm not exactly sure why this was a default setting out of the box, but that's what Panasonic decided to do. I had to dig through the settings to find the constant preview setting, enable it so that I can actually see my settings change on the screen as I was changing them with the dials. And even then, when I dialed in my settings for the camera, it would only really use those settings as I put them in when I was taking pictures. If you're in manual mode and you put in your settings and you start taking pictures, great. Then you're gonna hit the record button to try and do a video and find it is not following your settings whatsoever. It's super weird. And it took me a while fighting with this to finally figure out that unless I am in movie mode, the camera really doesn't do what you think it's doing for video. It just does whatever the hell it wants to do. It's super weird. Once I go into movie mode, everything's all fine. So I just had to get used to the fact that manual mode doesn't actually do everything. Manual mode for the G85 is really mostly for pictures, and movie mode is for videos. It's exactly as they have it laid out, exactly as they built the camera. What it says on the tin, I guess, is what you would say. That's what you need to be doing. If you're shooting videos, you need to be in movie mode. If you're shooting pictures, you can be in auto or manual mode if you prefer, but don't try and shoot video in manual mode. Things get really crazy really quick. All in all, this camera is a huge upgrade for me, ticks all the boxes, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're thinking about the price, it's only $800, which, if you look at how much the GH5, GH4, definitely any of the Sony cameras right now, you'll realize that that price is a steal. And this camera regularly goes on sale for about $100 less or more sometimes. Tomorrow is Prime Day, so keep an eye out for this camera if you're looking for a 4K solution on a budget. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe down there if you want to see more content from me. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you again. Have a good one. Bye.